It was our great misfortune that Bapu brought this bitch, the so-called auntie, into the house. She was not interested in any housework. She let both of us plow in these chores. When we came back from school tired, after leaving the bag and taking off our uniform, we would be busy in cooking and other work till late at night. Stay busy, can't even do homework satisfactorily. I knew that Bapu's income was very low, but still in mother's life we usually had enough to eat. However, sometimes he had to sleep without eating. But now the hunger is increasing. This so-called auntie, Katia, had made many friends. When Bapu went to work and we were in school, he would be in our house and would be pampered for his sake. We were told this by a woman from the neighborhood who was a friend of our deceased mother. Then look at his courage that I was not allowed to meet boys and there was no stopping him from flirting with non-men. Being the eldest daughter, I could not tolerate these acts. Had he treated us kindly, I would have accepted the restrictions imposed by him. But in the present case, these restrictions are regarded as dictatorship. Bapu's income was limited, so where was the money coming from for clothes and makeup etc.? We did not even have 2 meals of simple bread. Several times I thought of talking to Bapu about this, but he was pampering the bitch so much that I did not dare to talk to her. He never tried to ask us whether this woman is treating us well or not. Then Kanti's patience ran out when her aunt convinced her father that there was no need for her to continue her education beyond class 10. He should be put on a job so that he can bear his own expenses. On hearing this, Kanti became very angry. It was not only that, but it was also that he created such situations in which Kanti and especially his younger brother suffered from starvation. On this, his brother was ready to rebel and sometimes he started abusing him. They did not get pocket money from home. In the convent where the children of rich people studied, they themselves spent openly and also used to care for their friends. On this, the anger in his heart against Auntie would have increased. Kanti's heart often felt the desire to get some money from somewhere to spend, so that she could buy things herself and give them to her brothers and sisters so that the feeling of inferiority and deprivation could be reduced from their hearts. The pocket money remained separate, they could not even get enough bread to fill their stomach. Now he started hating his father that he neither cares for his children, nor gives them time. He brought all the money to his new wife. Delivers, after passing 10th, when Kanti's father did not give him money to continue his studies, he was deeply disappointed, so he decided to take up a job. He said, "How could I live all day in this house where that bitch?" My aunt also lived. I was ready to accept any job immediately to earn some money for myself and my brother and sister. It was my great effort that they, like me, should not be forced to give up their education simply because of the lack of fees etc. So I immediately started working as a primary school teacher to fill the gap created by the staff leave. Later, a temporary teacher was appointed as a temporary teacher on 100 rupees per month. I further explored the circumstances under which she started working as a call girl. Kanti hesitated at first and then started speaking. I told the teachers at the school that I was in dire need of money. If any student wanted to study tuition, they would be recommended my name. After about 3 months of working at the school, a girl started tutoring me at her home. From this I started getting 50 rupees per month. Thus getting 150 rupees including salary made a big difference in my life. However, as far as my needs were concerned, these were few and far between. I needed more income to continue my siblings' convent education and to contribute to the expenses of the 3 of us at home. After all, where would Sardast bring in more than that? When I started earning, Bapu, my sister and brother's convent fees continued. I am sure that at the instigation of this cruel auntie, stopped and also reduced our food intake. Thus I began to feel my great humiliation and helplessness. Meanwhile at school I also started to feel that other girls are always better dressed than me, shouldn't I be like them? My thoughts then turned to the father of the girl I was tutoring. He was a very rich man and his friends and acquaintances with the rich were also sufficient. So in my first meeting with him while receiving the tuition fees, I told him that I am very needy. Trying to make up my shortfall in salary through tutoring, if any friend or relative of yours needs a tutor for their kids, I will teach attentively, it will also benefit me. On reaching here, she suddenly stopped. It seemed that maybe she did not want to tell anything in this regard. So for some time I also remained silent. I did not think it proper to press him to disclose his past experiences. Talks started here and there, including questions about his school conditions, the lifestyle of fellow Istons, hobbies and interests, etc. Then I cleverly mentioned the father of the private tutoring student to suit her mood and asked if he could get her some more tutoring. At this he again began to narrate his experiences. Very unexpectedly, the first major shock event of my life happened. I was barely 17 years old at that time. My private student's father told me one day at his house that I should accompany him to his friend's house and immediately agreed that he would introduce me to his friend and give me tuition through him. Well, when we reached there that evening, there was a huge party going on. There was no end to my admiration after seeing her splendor. I was also feeling a bit ashamed that my dress was not worthy of such a gathering. Anyway, he introduced me to his friend and I got a seat right next to him. I was offered a pint of wine. At first I declined, but on his insistence I relented a bit because I don't seem backward or arrogant. Despite the bitterness, drank 3 or 4 pegs. I soon felt dizzy and became talkative and more agitated. I joined everyone in the meal, picked up a few nibbles from one table and a few from another, and started sniffing around the hall. When the dinner was over, I asked my student's father to drop me at my house, so he asked me to wait for a while, because he said his friend wanted to talk to me about parting ways.